Sex and religion, can we talk about it? We've all been there, right? That moment when you realize that the conversations about faith and sexuality you're to be having just aren't happening. Like, how are we supposed to reconcile these two fundamental parts of ourselves when no one wants to talk about it? It can feel like navigating a minefield, tiptoeing around sensitive topics, hoping you don't step on any explosive beliefs. But what if I told you it doesn't have to be this way? In this video, we're diving headfirst into the complex relationship between sex and religion. We'll unpack why these topics often feel so taboo and explore how we can start having more open, honest, and compassionate conversations about them. Because let's face it, understanding the intersection of our faith and our sexuality is crucial for our spiritual growth and overall well-being. So, if you're ready to ditch the shame and embrace a more holistic approach, stick around because this is a conversation you don't want to miss. Okay, so picture this. You're a teenager maybe, just starting to figure out who you are, what you believe, and what you find attractive. You're also growing up in a religious community that, well, let's just say they don't exactly encourage open dialogue about kinds of feelings. Sound familiar? It's like being handed two different maps, each pointing you in opposite directions. On one hand, you have the teachings of your faith, often emphasizing abstinence, modesty, and traditional values. And then, bam! You've got this surge of hormones and desires that feel so real, so powerful, you can't ignore them. So, what do you do when these two seemingly contradictory forces collide? I remember talking to a friend once, let's call her Sarah, who was raised in a very conservative household. She was struggling with her sexuality, feeling incredibly guilty for even having these forbidden thoughts. She felt like she had to choose between her faith and being true to herself. And honestly, that's a choice no one should have to make. The truth is, faith and sexuality aren't mutually exclusive. They're both integral parts of who we are, and finding a way to honor both can be a journey of self-discovery and acceptance. But it's a journey often fraught with internal conflict, societal pressures, and, yeah, a whole lot of confusion. But here's the thing, we don't have to navigate this alone. By creating safe spaces for dialogue, challenging outdated beliefs, and embracing compassion, we can begin to bridge the gap between faith and sexuality. We can start to see them not as opposing forces, but as intertwined aspects of our humanity. It's about recognizing that our sexuality is not something to be ashamed of, but rather a gift to be understood, celebrated, and expressed in healthy, consensual ways. And that, my friends, is a conversation worth having. Let's be real, religious teachings have played a significant role in shaping our understanding of sexuality, for better or for worse. Think of it like a compass, right? It's meant to guide us, provide direction, and help us navigate the complexities of life. But sometimes that compass can feel a little, shall we say, stuck in its ways. For centuries, religious texts and traditions have provided frameworks for understanding sexuality, often emphasizing marriage, procreation, and specific gender roles. And while these teachings can offer valuable insights into ethical conduct and spiritual growth, they can also be misinterpreted, misused, and frankly out of touch with the realities of human experience in the 21st century. Think about it like this. The compass was invented centuries ago, a remarkable tool for its time. But we don't use it to navigate a modern city. We adapt, we evolve, we use GPS. Similarly, we can appreciate the wisdom of ancient texts while also acknowledging that our understanding of the world, including sexuality, has evolved. We can engage in critical thinking, asking ourselves, what messages about sexuality resonate with me? Which ones feel outdated or harmful? This isn't about discarding our faith, it's about deepening our understanding of it. It's about recognizing that our relationship with religion is dynamic, fluid, and ever-evolving, just like our understanding of sexuality. And just like that GPS, it requires us to update our maps, to consider new routes, and to be open to the possibility that the path we're on might need a little course correction. Because here's the deal, blind adherence to dogma without critical reflection can lead to shame, guilt, and a disconnect from our own bodies and desires. And that's not what faith should be about. True faith should empower us to embrace the fullness of who we are, including our sexuality, with love, compassion, and a healthy dose of self-acceptance. Chapter 3. Why is it that talking about sex in religious settings can feel about as comfortable as like accidentally wearing your pajamas to a job interview? Seriously, the awkward silence, the side-eye glances, the sudden urge to disappear beneath your chair, it's a whole thing. But here's the thing, This silence is more than just uncomfortable, it's harmful. When we treat sexuality as taboo, we create an environment where shame thrives and healthy conversations about consent, boundaries, and respect get swept under the rug. And that can have real-life consequences. So, how do we break this cycle of silence and stigma? Well, it starts with fostering a culture of openness and empathy. Imagine if instead of shying away from these conversations, we approached them with curiosity and compassion. What if we created spaces within our religious communities where people felt safe to ask questions, share their experiences, and explore their sexuality without fear of judgment? It doesn't have to be a theological debate or a platform for personal opinions. Just start by listening, really listening. When someone opens up about their struggles or questions about faith and sexuality, meet them with empathy, not judgment. Remember, behind every question, every doubt, every fear, there's a human being trying to make sense of their place in the world. And sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is simply hold space for them, to let them know they're not alone. It might feel awkward at first, like trying to parallel park in a space too small, but trust me, the more we talk, the easier it becomes. And who knows, we might even learn a thing or two about ourselves and each other along the way. Chapter 4. One of the biggest challenges in navigating faith and sexuality is figuring out how to reconcile our personal beliefs with the teachings of our religion. It's like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube. You twist and turn, trying to make all the sides match, but sometimes it feels impossible. I remember talking to a guy, let's call him David, who grew up believing that being gay was a sin. He loved his church, his community, but he also loved his partner Mark. He felt torn between two worlds, like he had to choose between his faith and his happiness. For years, David struggled with guilt and shame. He tried to pray the gay away, even considered ending his relationship. But eventually, he realized that denying a fundamental part of himself wasn't bringing him closer to God, it was pushing him further away. David's journey of reconciliation wasn't easy. It involved a lot of soul-searching, challenging his own biases and seeking out more inclusive interpretations of his faith. He realized that his sexuality wasn't a flaw, but a gift, a part of his identity that God created and loved. And that's the key, isn't it? To remember that our faith should be a source of love and acceptance, not judgment and condemnation. It's about recognizing that God's love is vast and all-encompassing, extending to all people, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity. Reconciling personal beliefs with faith is a deeply personal journey. There's no one-size-fits-all answer, but it's a journey worth taking, because when we allow ourselves the space to explore our faith and our sexuality with open hearts and open minds, we open ourselves up to the possibility of living more authentic, fulfilling lives. Chapter 5. Look, navigating the intersection of faith and sexuality is rarely easy. It's messy, it's complex, and it can bring up a lot of emotions. But if there's one thing I want you to take away from this conversation, it's this: choose compassion. Choose compassion for yourself. Give yourself permission to question, to doubt, to change. It's okay to not have all the answers. It's okay to be on your own journey of self-discovery. Choose compassion for others. Remember that everyone is fighting their own battles, facing their own challenges. Meet them with understanding, not judgment. Choose compassion for your faith. Recognize that religion, at its core, is about love, acceptance, and connection. Challenge interpretations that promote exclusion or discrimination. Embrace teachings that celebrate the diversity of human experience. And most importantly, be patient with yourself and with others. This is a journey, not a destination. There will be bumps in the road, detours, and moments where you feel lost. But it's in those moments of vulnerability and uncertainty that we often experience the most growth. As the writer Pierre Teilhard de Chardin once said, "We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience." Let's strive to make that human experience one of love, acceptance, and understanding for ourselves and for all. So there you have it. We've covered a lot of ground, from the challenges of reconciling faith and sexuality to the importance of breaking down taboos and embracing compassion. Remember, it's okay to question, to explore, and to define your own path. If this video resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more conversations about faith, sexuality, and everything in between. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going. Ultimately, the journey of faith and self-acceptance is about embracing the fullness of who we are, in all our messy, beautiful, complicated glory. And that, my friends, is a journey worth taking.